Good morning. Okay, so it's been a couple of days. I've been sick. Oh well, it happens. So my eldest tested positive for COVID on Monday, and actually, I think we tested him on Tuesday, but he was sick on Sunday when he came back home, and he was sick on Monday, so he stayed home, and then we tested him, and we found out he had COVID. And he's okay. He's doing well. He's uncomfortable, but he has autism. It's very difficult for him to have changes in his routine. Even though he loves to spend a lot of time alone, the moment he has to spend time alone, he wants to find out what the limits of the rules are and where his freedom lies. And I can understand that. But it's been okay. The whole family is sick, but not with COVID, only him. The rest of us only have a different kind of cold that was brought home by one of the kids, and we've tested ourselves and we're not COVID positive. So blah. Last week I had such a good week pain-wise. That I barely had the need to record videos or do anything like related to pain. And then of course I was very creative and got a lot of work done on the bookkeeping that I'm supposed to be doing. Excuse me. I am still sick. All right, so although I've been making a lot of progress on my work stuff, I do realize that I also have my routines. So yeah, reasons why I think I'm autistic is this name of this little series, and it's going to pop up in strange places whenever I feel like it, because that's how I tick. When I was let me pick an example. I'm trying to pick examples from early childhood because in order to get a diagnosis, one needs to have evidence from early childhood. And even though my doctor thinks I have ADHD, I'm convinced that I have both ADHD and autism. The social deficits are completely clear as day to me. I do have social deficits. And I was just watching a little show this morning about local autistic people answering questions from the public, and it's just like a little 5-minute show that is aired on our local channels, and it usually about different kinds of disabilities. This morning it was about autism, and I saw a guy, oh my gosh, and he was so great, and he said in French, he said that he appreciates even his negative autistic traits, like his naivete, because it's him, and he enjoys being an optimist, and I relate to that. I really do. But the example that I can think of from early childhood right now that's standing out in my mind is not to do with being an optimist. It has to do with language and understanding social language, which I did not. But of course, a lot of 6-year-olds don't. So I wasn't different from my peers yet, except for my internal experiences of sensory processing. I wouldn't say disorder, but I was extra sensitive always to light and sound. And that's because of my synesthesia. And I'm also impossible to keep me in the heat. My body temperature doesn't regulate well, and so I become overheated easily. And there are a lot of different reasons why, as a 6-year-old, I would have been missed as autistic, you know? Anyway, but I did have those experiences. Autism more and more seems to me to be an internal experience that is entirely misunderstood from the outside by observation. It's a human experience, and okay, it ties into my difficulties with taking statistical categorization of human behavior seriously. Right? Okay. Anyway, I think I am rambling a little bit, but my kind of autism is PDA, pervasive drive for autonomy is the nice way to say it. Pathological demand avoidance is the not nice way to say it. But I can see the pathological because it also hinders me in making progress in my life. That shouldn't be that difficult to do. Okay, here's a current example. And then I'll give you my 6-year-old example because it's kind of a funny story. So the current example of pathological demand avoidance is I have a website and I have a shop. But I don't relate to money well because it's a demand. It's a demand, first of all, to accept the monetary system, which I like to pretend that I'm not a part of. I'm better with bartering. I feel I made a creative thing for my own purposes, and you made a creative thing for your own purposes. We could trade our creative things, and wow, now we get to enjoy double the creativity. That's how I tick. Excuse me. Okay, so what else? Right, the website. Also, there's the getting distracted, but I think that's ADHD. Yes, so it's my project, and I'm at the stage of linking my credit card to my shop so that it can actually function. Nothing else is going to happen, right? Until I do that one step. It takes about 10 minutes. Well, guess who hasn't done it yet? You know, it's been like 2 months now, and I realized that I've had the website itself for about 2 years, right? So it's taken me 2 years to even set up the shop, and it's taken me a month, because I'm going to do it today, now that I've shamed myself, admitted my problem, and then a month to set up the credit card, which is a 10-minute task. So I can't work because I can't do things that people tell me to do. And I'm lots and lots, not lots because I don't have a lot of jobs, but I do have professionals around me that I've worked with who can attest to the fact that Gala will not actually do anything she is directly told to do. No, that's not true. I won't tell anything, I won't do anything that is a perceived demand. A perceived demand, which means that you can ask me to do things without demanding. If I have a choice, I can take it on, and then I deal with my own demand of, I said I was going to do this. I deal with that privately in my head. And I have my own little battles, but you as a boss don't get to, worry about that, because I will get it done, especially if it's a task that I've agreed to, that's in my job description, in my very prescribed autistic way, like it's, yes, I'm supposed to be doing this, then I can have a reason to do it, besides the fact that you asked me to, right? But if it's a hierarchical thing, like you're my boss and you're just making me do shit because I'm supposed to work for my money, and there's no real purpose to that work, I can't do that. Lots of people are really happy to be, I heard the expression was clock watchers, and just get paid for doing nothing but sitting there all day. I will lose my mind. Can't do that. But I also have a really hard time being paid for work that I've already done, which makes it hard for me to sell my art, which makes it hard for me to bill a client after I've done the work, right? It's actually a huge problem in my life. All right. 6-year-old story. Kind of prophetic, all right, in a way. Because at the time of being 6 years old, I had no idea what my life was actually going to be like when I was an adult, obviously. But I made up a lie. I made up a lie to cover for the fact that I was once again late for school. And I knew that the excuses that I had been bringing, like we left late, we stopped to buy a cookie, we took longer to get there because I was walking slow. I mean, whatever the reason was that I couldn't be to school on time, it first of all was not my fault because I was 6 and it's my parents' job to get me there. Duh, right? And my parents could not do that because they worked nights, and also because I'm convinced that my father also has ADHD and possibly pathological demand avoidance as well. And he couldn't do it, but a lot of the times he was the one doing it. He was bringing me to school. I remember walking to school with him and him buying me those great molasses cookies at the corner store for my breakfast. Anyway, I would get to school and I would get in my classroom and I'd have to give the teacher an excuse, and none of them were good enough and I'd already been chastised like half a dozen times, you know. So this day I made up a lie. I said, oh, I have a brother. He's 18. In my mind, the 18 means that the school wouldn't know about him because he wasn't a kid. So besides the fact that my father was 28 at the time and couldn't have an 18-year-old son, and my parents are the same age, right? Made no sense at all. I didn't think that far ahead. So my 18-year-old brother, who is retarded, because that's the language we used in those days, and I didn't see it as a bad thing. He had to be retarded because this was the second part of my lie, was that we had to take a little time to celebrate his first words. He spoke today for the first time. It was wonderful. Right? So that was my lie. And not only did I lie, which I thought I had covered all my bases, right? And was super believable, I also said it all in French. And that was part of the reason why the lie was so elaborate, because I only knew certain words in French at that time. It was the very beginning of grade 1. It was the very beginning of my exposure to daily French, right? Anyway, that was my story. And I think that any 6-year-old can make up a better lie than that. I think that lie was pretty bad in terms of believability. It was creative. It was skillful in language. It was brilliant in so many ways, but it was clearly not a believable lie. Anyway, I lied for like maybe another year after that, and I gave up. I can't keep track of it, and I can't tell if people believe lies or not, and I know I don't, because I'm the one telling it. I don't believe what I'm saying, so why would someone else believe what I'm saying? Incapable of lying. Not only am I incapable of lying effectively, but I'm also incapable of hiding the truth. So that's one of the reasons why I believe I'm autistic and unemployable. Bye now.